One of the questions I hear most often is, where should I start with non-toxic living? And honestly, I think part of what makes that question so hard is that once you start paying attention, it can start to feel like suddenly everything needs your attention. Cookware, water filters, air purifiers, cleaning products, food storage, organic food, organic mattresses. Before long, it starts to feel like another list of things you're doing wrong. You don't need a list of 50 things to replace. You just need somewhere to start. So if you're just getting started with non-toxic living and you aren't sure where to begin, this is where I'd point you first. I would start with what stays on your skin. This is your makeup, moisturizer, deodorant, lotion, sunscreen, hand cream, anything that stays on your skin for a while without washing off. Moisturizer is a good one for us to zoom in on as an example, because most of us are putting it on every day. It covers a lot of our skin and it's staying there for hours. Notice how the impact it can have is going to be much different than something like hand soap, which is going to touch your skin briefly, but then mostly rinse away. I'd really think about this category of skin as what stays on your skin. The longer something stays on your skin and the more often you use it, the higher it's going to move on the priority list. The second category I would think about is what lingers in your air. So think about candles, plug-ins, room sprays, cleaning sprays, dryer sheets, laundry detergent, laundry scent boosters, that whole category. And I would absolutely put fragrance at the top of that list, because fragrance is an umbrella term. It's not just one word. Even though you look at the label and it says fragrance and it's one word, it's not really one ingredient. That one word can hide anywhere from dozens to hundreds of chemicals. In fact, fragrance covers an umbrella of over 3,000 chemicals. So it's important, and companies aren't required to disclose any of the chemicals. So when you see that word, you just don't know what's in it. Fragrance isn't hiding in just one or two products in your house. It's in all those products I named before. It's in moisturizers, it's in hand soaps, it's in shampoos, it's in so many products. The combination of not knowing what's in it and the fact that it's in so many things is why I put this category very high on the list of things to start with. Now let's talk about the third category, which is what touches your food. There are a few different places you could start here. Let me walk you through 3 quick scenarios because it really depends on what you're using in your kitchen and how you're using it. So plastic containers are already high on my radar, but there are 2 things that move them much higher up the priority list: heat and damage. We'll talk about heat first. If you're microwaving food in plastic or putting hot leftovers into plastic containers, I would tell you to start there. Definitely swap those plastic containers for glass. And if you can't afford that yet, at the very least, stop heating food in those plastic containers. Second, let's talk about damage. Plastic containers that are scratched, warped, or stained move higher on the priority list too. That damage can allow more chemicals to leach into your food, so they're worth replacing. And third, let's talk about nonstick. Many traditional nonstick pans are made with PFAS, which are often called forever chemicals. So if you're cooking with traditional nonstick, especially if it's scratched or starting to flake, I would point you there. You can see there's not really one universal answer. It's less replace all your cookware or replace your plastic first, and more look at what you're using most often and whether heat or damage is part of that picture, and start there. And then the fourth category is water. And water gets its own category because, well, we can't live without water, and because the quality of our water really matters. The water we drink, cook with, and shower in contains different contaminants depending on where you live. It includes things like heavy metal, chlorine, pesticide residue, pharmaceuticals, and more. One of my favorite free tools is the EWG tap water database. You put in your zip code and it tells you what's actually been found in your local water supply. And then that can lead you to what type of filtration would be most beneficial for your particular situation. I'll link that tap water database below so you can look your water up. And I know it's easy to feel like you need either a whole house water filtration system or it's not worth doing anything. But I don't think that's true. Even starting with a simple water filter that you keep on your counter is real progress. I'll be honest, a whole house water filtration system is still on my own wish list. My budget isn't there yet, but in the meantime, I do filter the water that we drink, cook with, and shower in. And that's really my point. You don't always need the biggest option to make a meaningful difference. Now let's talk about what can probably wait. Replacing all your clothes with organic, buying non-toxic furniture, buying an organic mattress if you're not in the market for a mattress right now, and trying to get every single thing in your house swapped immediately, all of those things can probably wait. And it's not because those things don't matter. It's because not every change deserves the same amount of your time, energy, or money right now. And honestly, some of what you already own is probably fine as is. You might already have good quality stainless steel. Keep it. Cast iron, glass containers, or wood cutting boards. If you do, those are keepers. So if you've been feeling like you need to replace everything in your house right now to be doing this non-toxic living right, I want to encourage you. You don't. I learned this the hard way myself. Years ago, I threw away every product in my house with the word fragrance on the label in one day. It was not a good plan. It wasn't sustainable, and it definitely wasn't helpful. So remember, you don't have to change everything to make meaningful progress. I encourage you to start by taking a few minutes to consider the 4 areas that I shared today. Ask yourself, which one of these is going to make the biggest impact for me in my situation? And then make that change. Get comfortable with that change. And then when you're ready, decide on the next best swap and continue from there.